Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual public information meeting for state project number 94-264, which is the replacement of Bridge 2572 carrying Route 1 over South Frontage Road and the I-95 off-ramp in New London, Connecticut. My name is Brianna Rattacco. I'm the project engineer with the Connecticut Department of Transportation for this project. We hope that everyone finds the presentation informative and that we'll be able to address any questions or concerns you may have. I also wanted to thank Brian Sear, the City of New London Public Works Director, for meeting with us back in May to discuss the project and for helping to make tonight's meeting happen. So first, I'll hand it to Louis to explain how to turn on captions and subtitles.
Available to those joining us tonight through Zoom is the option to view captions or subtitles. To turn on this feature, select the Show Captions button or the CC button at the bottom of your screen. Then select the Speaking Language button and then select the desired language. Para los que se encuentran hoy en Zoom, la opción de tener subtítulos está disponible. Para usarlo, oprima el botón que dice Show Captions button o el botón que dice CC en la parte baja de la pantalla. Después, oprima el botón que dice Speaking Language button y seleccione su lenguaje preferido.
Thanks, Louis. Before we get started with the main presentation, I wanted to walk through the goals and format for tonight's meeting. So first, I will introduce the project team, including the department leadership and our consultant liaison and design teams, and also explain how to interact with us during the meeting. Then we will have the technical portion of the presentation, which will include the condition of the existing structure, the purpose and need for the project, and the recommended design, which is progressed to a 30% design level. As I mentioned earlier, the preliminary design and the project as a whole was presented to the City of New London in May this year. Following the technical presentation, we will open up the forum to comments and questions. So there are 3 ways you'll be able to communicate with us during the live question and answer session. So you can submit questions via email at dotproject94-264@ct.gov, as it's currently shown on the slide. You can also call 860-594-2020 and leave a voicemail. The Q&A box can be used if you're joining us through Zoom. We will explain how to use that function in a little more detail on the next slide. And just note that the Zoom Q&A function will only be available during tonight's meeting. The project email, voicemail, and Q&A box will be screened by the project team, and the project team will then read the questions out loud and respond. Questions may be asked at any time during the presentation, but they will be answered and read out loud at the end of the presentation. There is also a project webpage where a recording of tonight's meeting will be made available. The website will also include information that was explained on how to leave questions and comments for the project team, and that website is portal.ct.gov/DOT New London 94-264. The question and comment period by email or phone will be open through August 10th, 2023. So any questions or comments that are thought of after tonight's meeting may be submitted until August 10th, 2023 via email or voicemail. And if you do leave a voicemail, just please be sure to to note the project number 94-264 in your message so it can be routed to our team. So to use the Zoom Q&A function, select the Q&A tool at the bottom of the webinar window. The Q&A window will then open as it's shown on the right. Then you can type the question into the text box and click enter, and those questions will be submitted to us. So I'd like to now introduce the project team. So first, from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, we have Bart Sweeney, the Division Chief of Bridges, Derek Lassard, Principal Engineer, Francisco Fadul, Project Manager, and myself, Brianna Rattacco, the Project Engineer. Additionally, GM2 is working on the project as the consultant liaison engineer. So from GM2, we have Rich Armstrong and Ron Sackey, and A. DeCesar Associates is the consultant design engineer for the project, and tonight we have Art DeCesar and Julie Georges. As part of the Title VI civil rights, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. A link is provided on this slide to additional civil rights information. We would also greatly appreciate if you would complete the public survey after tonight's meeting. A link and a QR code are provided on this slide. Links to both the public survey and the civil rights flyer are also available on the project website mentioned earlier. A recording of the presentation will also be posted to YouTube after the event, and closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on both Zoom and YouTube. So I'll hand the presentation over to Louis again to read the Title VI notice to the public in English and Spanish.
The Connecticut Department of Transportation operates its programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Any person who believes she or he has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practice under Title VI may file a complaint with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Next slide, please. Next slide. El Departamento de Transporte de Connecticut se compromete a asegurar que ninguna persona sea excluida de participar en o le sean negados los beneficios de su servicio de transporte basándose en la raza, color o país de origen de la persona protegida por el título 6, la Ley de los Derechos Civiles. Si a usted le parece que ha sido objeto de discriminación en lo que corresponde al título 6, puede presentar una queja al departamento.
Good evening. My name is Julie Georges, and I'm with the engineering firm of DeCesar Associates, and I'll be presenting the bridge replacement project that we're going to talk about tonight. Let's familiarize ourselves with the project area. This is the Gold Star Bridge, which carries I-95 across the Thames River. Thames River is an important environmental resource in New London. This is Riverside Park. This is a portion of the State Pier. This is the bridge we plan on replacing, circled in red, and the yellow is a connecting roadway network in the vicinity. This is a close-up 3D view of the project location. The bridge is shown in yellow, and it's easier to see the vertical relationship of the various roadways. I-95 is depressed in this area. To the north on the left is the New London Armory, which is home to the Connecticut National Guard. To the south are residential neighborhoods of northern New London, including Norwood Ave, Ledyard Street, and Fitch Avenue. This view is a traditional map view of the location of the bridge. Bridges are typically described by what they carry over what is crossed. This bridge carries US Route 1 over South Frontage Road and the exit 83 off-ramp. The bridge functions as an on-ramp from Brick Street and an on-ramp from South Frontage Road via Route 1. Before I go any further, I'd like to spend a little time explaining some of the terms that we'll be using to describe our project. Looking at the diagram, the deck is the riding surface of the bridge. The parapets are what protects errant vehicles from driving off of the deck. The beams are what carry the decks and the vehicular load. The superstructure is the combination of the beams and the connecting components as a unit. The beams also carry loads like wind and, on occasion, earthquake loads, which is rare. The superstructure is carried by the substructure to the ground. The substructure components are wing walls, abutments, and piers. All state bridges and local bridges are over 20 feet in length are inspected every 2 years by the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Bridge Safety and Evaluation Unit. The major bridge elements are assigned a condition rating on a scale of 1 to 9, with 9 being excellent and 1 being imminent failure. Typically, when a major bridge component such as the deck, the superstructure, or the substructure reaches a condition rating of 4, a project is initiated to address the deficiencies. This is the existing structure. Again, it's Route US 1 and it's carried over South Frontage Road and the exit 83 off-ramp. It's a 2-span structure. This span is approximately 137 feet, and this span is about 154 feet. Route 1 over South Frontage Road and exit 83 off-ramp is a one-lane roadway carrying about 4,500 cars every day, which is referred to as its average daily traffic. The roadway width is 24 feet, and the out-to-out width is 27.8 feet, which includes the parapet. The bridge is a reinforced concrete deck supported by a continuous steel beam superstructure on 2 reinforced concrete abutments and a reinforced concrete pier. The purpose of this project is to address the structural deficiencies of State Bridge 2572 and to provide a structure that accommodates safe travel for all vehicular traffic. We have discussed the purpose of this project, and these photos help explain the need. The superstructure is rated for a poor condition. The top left photo shows cracking and efflorescence. Efflorescence is the cement residue created by the flow of water through the parapet concrete. The flow of water combined with road de-icing salts create an agent of corrosion. To the top right is a picture of a superstructure detailing that is termed fatigue prone. In this case, welded connections can crack over a large number of vibration cycles that occur as multiple vehicles drive over the road over many years. The cracking of the welds can initiate other cracks. At the bottom left, you can see that the corrosion of the beams is happening. This is created again by the flow of water and de-icing salts. The paint system is meant to protect the bridge, but as you can see, it has failed. The bottom right, we can see the highly skewed expansion joints. This expansion joint pictured here is called an asphaltic plug joint. Joints are meant to protect the beams beneath them from the roadway, water, and de-icing salts. The high skew makes it hard to keep many joint systems effective in terms of preventing leaks. So the project goals are to improve the condition rating of the superstructure to a 7 or greater, to improve the load carrying capacity, to improve the bridge geometry to extend the service life, and to improve roadway geometry to current standards. This again is just to reorient us to where we are and the bridge, which is circled on the right. This is the proposed roadway plan. This legend helps to explain this drawing. Yellow indicates proposed pavement, orange indicates proposed structure, the green fill, and the brown proposed cut. The roadway reconstruction depicted is required because of the bridge replacement, which I will go into describe in more detail in a few moments. US Route 1 and the northbound entrance ramp will be shifted to the north and reconstructed for about 1,075 feet. The profile of this road will also be increased to provide proper vertical clearance for the bridge. South Frontage Road will also be shifted to the north and reconstructed for approximately 1,300 feet. Brick Street will be widened slightly and repaved for 390 feet. The slip ramp that now allows you to go from Bridge Street directly onto the entrance ramp will be eliminated and removed. Other roadways requiring some repaving will be the exit ramp as it merges into South Frontage Road and the I-95 on-ramp from Route 32 onto Route 1. These drawings are typical sections, and they show cross sections of the proposed roadway and use arrows to depict the lane use and show the width of the roadways. This is the view you would have if you're driving on the road. Direct you to the legend where the dark gray represents proposed pavement reconstruction, the brown indicates proposed guide railing, and the green indicates topsoil and seed. The top typical section here is Route 1 northbound entrance ramp. It's a one-lane, one-direction road with a 12-foot travel lane, an 8-foot left shoulder, and a 12-foot right shoulder. South Frontage Road is also a one-lane, one-direction road with a 12-foot travel lane, a 4-foot left shoulder, and a 10-foot right shoulder. Brick Street is a 4-lane road that carries 2 lanes in each direction, and you can see that it'll be widened. The shoulder will be widened as indicated by the proposed pavement block. The widening will allow bicycle traffic to use the road more safely. This is the plan for the new bridge. And in terms of the general plan, the legend indicates that the light gray is the existing structure, the orange is the proposed structure, and the yellow is the proposed pavement. The new bridge will be constructed to the north. This will simplify construction in that it will allow existing traffic to use the existing bridge while it is constructed. The new bridge is a single span, while the existing bridge is a 2-span bridge. The elimination of the pier will reduce maintenance costs in the future. It's also a shorter span, the new bridge, which will also reduce maintenance costs in the future. The new bridge has abutments which are perpendicular to the direction of traffic and eliminates these heavily skewed joints and allows the bridge to be more serviceable and maintenance friendly. The thin orange lines depict the wing walls and retaining walls required for the bridge. Retaining walls and wing walls will be required in all 4 corners. This is a southern elevation of the bridge from the south looking at the bridge. The dark gray is proposed bridge walls, deck, and parapet. The orange is proposed steel plate girders, and the green is proposed grade. The yellow is proposed pavement, which is indicated here for South Frontage Road. This slide helps to explain how this bridge will be built. The top left shows the bridge as it exists today from the view as if one is driving on the bridge. The top right shows stage 1 construction, which will provide a new precast concrete barrier curb, and the road will be shifted slightly to the right. A 12-foot lane will be provided, and a portion of the existing bridge will be demolished. During stage 2, the new bridge can be built in its entirety while the existing bridge maintains the existing traffic. In the final cross section, the new bridge will carry all the traffic, but the remainder of the existing bridge will need to be demolished. You can see from this drawing that the new bridge is wider than the existing bridge to meet current standards. The new bridge is also deeper than the existing bridge to allow for a longer span, a shorter span without a pier. Because the new bridge is over South Frontage Road, there are periods of time during construction that South Frontage Road will need to be closed. For example, during erection of the new bridge and during demolition of the existing bridge, for the safety of the vehicles traveling beneath the road will need to be closed. This drawing depicts how traffic will be detoured to allow for the closure of South Frontage Road. The limits of the closure are depicted in gray crosshatching. The traffic wishing to continue along South Frontage Road will be required to take the exit to Briggs Street, drive along Briggs Street, take a right at William Street to connect to a point along South Frontage Road. This detour will also be required when South Frontage Road is reconstructed after the new bridge is in place. Similarly, the exit 83 off-ramp will also need to be closed for periods of time during construction, particularly during erection of the new bridge and demolition of the existing bridge. Northbound traffic wishing to connect to the exit 83 off-ramp will be rerouted from exit 82A along South Frontage Road to their ultimate destination. Both detours will only need to be implemented during specific construction activities. For most of the duration of construction, South Frontage Road and the exit 83 off-ramp will remain in place, open. Both detours are fairly short, intuitive, and will not worsen existing traffic capacity substantially. With this, I'd like to turn it back over to Brianna. Brianna?
Thanks, Julie. Some additional items that we would like to note are related to rights of way and environmental impacts. So there are no temporary or permanent property impacts anticipated at this time, and there are also no wetland or watercourse impacts anticipated either. Under NEPA, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, the project appears to qualify as a categorical exclusion due to the project's minimal environmental impacts. And please note that the impacts presented are preliminary and are subject to change as design progresses. Lastly, I'll present the preliminary project cost and schedule, which are also subject to change. We anticipate construction will begin in April 2025, and it is anticipated to last through December 2026. I also wanted to note that the project team is aware of the Gold Star Bridge project going on in the area, and the management of traffic will be coordinated with that project during construction to minimize disruption. At this time, the anticipated construction cost for the project is about $17 million, and the project will be funded with 80% federal funds and 20% state funds. So that concludes the presentation for tonight's meeting. We will now move into the open forum portion for your comments and questions. So as a reminder, you can enter your questions into the Zoom Q&A window if you're joining us through Zoom. You can also email the following email address, dotproject94-264@ct.gov, or call 860-594-2020 and leave a voicemail, and the project team will get to them as soon as we can. And I will also just in the chat post the website link and that email address and phone number. And following the meeting, if you are able to, there is the public survey to get some feedback on the virtual meeting. The virtual meetings are still relatively new to the department, so we appreciate any feedback that you can provide. So I will copy that into that chat as well, the link to the survey. I also wanted to just remind everyone that the comment period will be open through August 10th. So should you think of a question after the meeting, you can email that project email DOT project 94-264@ct.gov or call 860-594-2020 and leave a voicemail. And again, if you're going to leave a voicemail, just make sure to list the project number 94-264 so that the question can be directed to us. And that post-meeting survey will also be available through August 10th. And we will wait about 2 more minutes for any questions to come in. And again, you can, use the voicemail or the email address, and then if you're in Zoom, you can do it through the Zoom Q&A function, which is at the bottom of the screen. And if you click on that, it'll open the window for you. All right, it looks like we can conclude the presentation at this point. So thank you everyone very much for attending tonight. We appreciate everyone's time. As I said previously, we will be monitoring the phone and email address during the comment period, which is through August 10th. A link to the project webpage has been posted in that chat. So we look forward to a successful project here in New London. Thank you again, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your night.